All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the Call for Qualifications webinar to join the ACE Evaluation Network. My name is London Losi and I am the project director for the network. Joining me today is Carla Mendez. Do you want to say hello, Carla?
Hi everyone. As Lyndon mentioned, my name is Carla Mendez and I'm the project manager for Expanding the Bench. Glad to be here today.
Thank you so much. We're going to talk with you today about the CFQ itself, and Carla's going to start us off with an overview of Expanding the Bench and offer some more details about the network itself. Go ahead, Carla.
Thanks, London. So as you can see on your screen, here is a sort of overview of Expanding the Bench, of which the mission for Expanding the Bench, or ETB, is sort of to provide a platform and support for diverse evaluators and consumers of evaluation to value, practice, and promote culturally responsive and equitable evaluation. And so ETB really serves to increase diversity in the evaluation field and is based upon the belief that information and data have power to shape policy, programs, and practice, and that evaluators from diverse backgrounds increase the likelihood that methods, analysis, and interpretation benefit the communities they serve. And so what you can see on the screen here is sort of a three-pronged approach, the first of which is promoting the practice of excellence, equitable evaluation by supporting historically marginalized and currently unsupported evaluators through the ACE Evaluation Network. And secondly, to increase field demand among funders and commissioners of evaluation through our field building and fundraising work. And thirdly, developing and expanding a new pathway for historically marginalized and currently unsupported evaluators through the Leaders in Equitable Evaluation and Diversity program, or the LEAD program for short. So that is ETB in a nutshell, and we will move on now to an overview of the ACE Evaluation Network, which is what brings us here today. So the Advancing Culturally Responsive and Equitable Evaluation Network is a community of diverse evaluators whose mission is to both drive and support the practice of excellent, culturally responsive, and equitable evaluation, or CRE for short, which I'll define in the next slide. The network really aims to become the primary source foundations, think tanks, nonprofits, research institutes, and other producers and consumers of evaluation turn to for evaluators who bring valuable lived experience to their practice. So to define CRE, I think it's important that we just illustrate for you that as we embarked on this work, the ETB team considered how we were defining culturally responsive and equitable evaluation through conversations that we had with evaluators and stakeholders. And so through those conversations, our team drew from other definitions in the field to develop a working definition for our work. And so for us, there are several components of the CRE definition, but at the core, CRE requires the integration of diversity, inclusion, and equity in all phases of evaluation. So CRE incorporates cultural, structural, and contextual factors such as historical, social, economic, racial, ethnic, gender, and using a participatory approach that shifts power to individuals most impacted. So CRE is not just one method of evaluation, it is an approach that should be infused into all evaluation methodologies. And we believe CRE advances equity by informing strategy, program improvement, decision-making, policy formation, and social change. And
thanks so much, Carla.
Feel free, yep.
So the network aims to become the primary source foundations, think tanks, nonprofits, research institutes, and other producers and consumers of evaluation turn to for evaluators who bring valuable lived experience to their practice, which is something that Carla just mentioned. And that this graphic on screen is really trying to illustrate that loop between evaluators and funders, and where we as a network are really trying to equalize the relationship between evaluators and funders to make to make the work occur more smoothly and more equitably. So really, why join the network? Beyond elevating the presence of diverse evaluators in the field, the ACE Evaluation Network members have the opportunity to build networking connections where they can engage in virtual networking webinars, connect with fellow evaluators throughout the US and its territories, participate in networking and community building events, which are often attended by evaluation funders and other network members, and to partner with fellow network members on proposals, presentations, and so forth. There's also an opportunity to establish evaluation contracts. This is where you can raise your visibility and potential to secure evaluation contracts by sharing your professional profile on an exclusive database that's searchable by evaluation funders and other network members. You can also receive philanthropic funding announcements in advance of the public or that are sometimes exclusive to network members, and hear about new employment, fellowship, and training experiences through our listserv. Thirdly, members can pursue professional development opportunities through the network. You can expand your knowledge and understanding of culturally responsive and equitable evaluation. Build upon and contribute to collective knowledge of the network by offering peers your own expertise and learning from theirs. And then access professional development webinars, communities of practice, and other learning opportunities that explore diversity, inclusion, and equity in the evaluation field. We ask that each member adhere to these member commitments or users' agreements for our network and the database itself. These are included on our website, and I'll briefly mention them here on screen. So the first is to really update and maintain, as a member, your online database profile on a minimum of an annual basis. And this is something that our Expanding the Bench team or ETB team will send out prompts for each year. And for members or for people applying for membership to the network, the application itself feeds into this member profile. And so much of the application, but not all, goes into the completed profile if you're accepted for membership. The next commitment is, to the best of your ability, to attend all network activities for which you register. This is really just demonstrating your commitment to what the network is offering and how we can help promote you and you promote the network by showing up and being present and contributing to the collective knowledge and sharing of CRE and other evaluation practices. Thirdly, if contracted by a potential funder or business partner about a new opportunity, which may be the case if you're in the database as a member and your profile is searched by a funder, we ask that you will please follow up with that evaluation funder or partner within 3 to 5 business days, regardless of your availability to pursue the work. This is really just to make sure we're in good standing with those funders that are supporting the work and who are interested in contacting you or contracting with you, similarly with evaluation partners, just to maintain that professionalism. Fourth, to refrain from sharing opportunities designated as exclusive to the network members with anyone outside of the network. On occasion, the network does receive opportunities that are specifically designated just for ACE Evaluation Network members. In that case, we really want to be true to the people who are opening up their opportunities just to the network and ensure that the folks that they are maybe receiving or screening for those opportunities are really coming with the qualifications that have been vetted for membership into the network. And so by restricting where that information or those opportunities are shared to just the network ensures that we're able to maintain that level of confidence and expertise in whomever is designating those opportunities, and so that they know who they're reaching out to and what they can expect. Fifth, engage in relationship building that promotes a culturally responsive and equitable approach to evaluation. This is really kind of a value and a practice that we're asking members to take into account, that we all value the importance of CRE in our work, and that as members we are asking that you help promote that in the field, and that you also embed that into all of the work that you do, because it is so essential and important to equity. And then lastly, to respond to expanding the bench requests for feedback and surveys about your use of the database, interactions with ACE Evaluation Network members or evaluation funders, and any participation you might have within our network activities, again, as applicable. We regularly conduct an annual survey of our network members, where we request feedback on their experiences with our different activities, the database, their knowledge around CRE, etc. And so that data is really important to our team, because it helps plan the work that we do for the year ahead and beyond, and really helps us stay in touch with the evaluators who are members of our network themselves. We also will survey funders, evaluation funders who are using the network to ensure we're incorporating their feedback into our processes as well. So going back to the call for qualifications, you can find the link for the call for qualifications on your screen here. It is on our Become a Member page of the Expanding the Bench website. And so we'll walk through some of the eligibility requirements and then the application itself.
Perfect. So in terms of eligibility requirements, the ACE Evaluation Network is open to experienced evaluators, and we specifically invite historically marginalized and or unsupported evaluators to apply. And in terms of the eligibility criteria, ideal applicants should have 7 years or more of paid evaluation experience and expertise. They should have demonstration of authorship and writing quality, project management resources, knowledge and practice of culturally responsive and equitable evaluation. And London will be going over the application in finer detail to give you an idea of the materials we are collecting in support and in relation to these requirements. But these are essentially what you must possess and have to qualify to be a member of the network. And if we move along, you'll see here on this slide the spring 2020 CFQ timeline, but this is really an example or an illustration, an illustration of our application timeline. These are actual dates for this specific CFQ, but for future reference, it might be helpful to just plan out a sort of estimate of how long the CFQ cycle lasts and some important dates. So for this particular CFQ, the application opens on Monday, March 16th, and will remain open for approximately 6 weeks. The application will close on Monday, April 27th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Our team will take about 2 weeks then to review applications, and decisions will be made by the ETB team by the week of May 11th. And this is when you should expect to receive notification of your status. We'll then have a new member webinar, which will be conducted on Tuesday, June 2nd at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, where we'll offer an introductory webinar to new members. So that is the timeline. We can move on now to an application overview.
Thanks so much, Carla. So I will walk you through the different components of the application. When you first create an account in the system, you'll be asked to provide your name, a username, and a password to the site. You'll also be asked to share your information, your contact information, as well as a link to your LinkedIn page if you have one, and your business website, if applicable. Before proceeding on to the network application, you'll be asked to review and agree to the network agreements that I shared earlier, and which are the same as the commitments for members. So once you've created your user profile or your login account, then you will move on to the different sections of the application. We have supplied a Word document and a PDF document on our website for you to use and fill out ahead of time. The reason for that is you cannot start this application and come back to it. You have to finish it all in one sitting. And so we highly encourage you to use that Word or PDF document to fill out your responses in advance and then use it to copy and paste over to the database system itself. So this first section then goes into more detail about your profile itself. We ask for your name, any pronouns you use. We will include a photo or a headshot. There's specifications in the help text that tell you the size and type file format that you should use for a photo. Where you're located, a tribal nation that you might be a part of, your education. We ask for an upload of your CV or a resume. If you have a link to a video resume, we highly encourage those as well. And there's a space to add that. And then a biography that's limited to 200 words. Not all of these fields are required. The ones that are required are have asterisks next to them. We do ask that you try to complete this as much as possible because this is the information that then feeds into the profile for members if you are accepted, and that is searchable by evaluation funders or fellow network members. And so the more information you have here, the more information someone has if they're conducting a search and encourages them to contact you. So the second section then really looks at some additional background information. We ask for race and ethnicity background, any languages that you speak or fluently, your gender and LGBTQA status. And then also start to dig into your project capacity, your availability to work in person, and your availability to work virtually. The third section is focused on capacity itself. Here we're asking you to identify if you have the capacity to work on small, medium, or large scale projects. This gives funders or evaluation partners an idea of about the dollar amount and time length that you have the capacity to work on specific projects. And we've outlined for you or defined what small, medium, and large scale means. We also are asking, I think we repeated a section here, Carla, around availability on working in person or virtually. And then it moves into section 4. So in this case, in section 4, we're asking you to identify the type of evaluator you are, whether you're an independent, college, university, or part of a small, medium, or large firm. You might be more than one, so select all that apply. Your position title and the type of organization or organizations for which you work, public, nonprofit, private, foundation, etc. The next section then goes into experience. What you see on screen is not a comprehensive list, but when you're in the database, you will see that comprehensive list. It's also comprehensive in the Word and PDF documents that we provided. And here you'll just select which of these focus areas pertain to your work. And then we also have similar lists for skills, populations of focus. Also in this section, we ask you to upload a work sample that is both scored and that can also be added to your profile later on for the searchable database if you're accepted for membership. The next section is on qualifications. Here, we're asking for years of experience and position descriptions. We do ask you to provide in 200 to 300 words 3 different project descriptions in which you were a principal investigator, a co-principal investigator, a senior research associate. In any case, you had a lead role in doing the evaluation work. To share your key findings and any other relevant details related to that. We also ask that at least in one of your 3 project descriptions that you clearly demonstrate how you employed culturally responsive and equitable evaluation practices. And if you maybe didn't, to identify for us where maybe some missed opportunities are and how you might incorporate those in hindsight. Or moving forward, depending on the stage of your project. If you are working with more sensitive information, we encourage you to redact anything that is sensitive, including names or entities that you really shouldn't share information about. And if you have any questions about that, please do reach out to our team. After the 3 project descriptions, we then ask you to share with us some of your plans and goals around culturally responsive and equitable evaluation. So there are some specific questions there we ask you to share around, and really what we're looking for is how your work has been impacted by your lived experience and how you see yourself continuing to grow and build upon your CRE knowledge and skills. You then, in this section, have the option to add an additional work sample if you would like, that can also be part of our scoring process, or that you might wish to have as part of your database profile for evaluation funders and partners to review. The next session is looking for referrals for the ACE Evaluation Network or lead referrals. Here we're really wondering if you know of someone who's interested in participating in either of these programs. Carla mentioned the LEAD program earlier on in this webinar, and there is a link on our website where you can go to learn more about it. But that LEAD program is more for early career evaluators, whereas ACE is really for advanced career. And so if you know someone that might be interested that we can reach out to and share the CFQ or other information around for ACE, or share scholar information around LEAD, please do let us know. And then the final section is consenting to sharing your information online. You do not have to consent to this to become a member, but if you do want to have your membership or your profile highlighted in the searchable database, we need a consent to yes here. And so then that is the final portion of the application. Again, we do encourage you to fill it out in that Word or PDF document first before going into the system and putting your information there, since you have to do it in the system all in one sitting. So I'll pass it to Carla, who will now share with you a little bit about how we make decisions around applications.
Thanks, London. So on the screen, you'll see our CFQ decision tree. Our internal review team will be considering the following criteria when making decisions regarding acceptance into our network. And you'll see them all laid out here in a decision tree, but just to walk you through them, our reviewers will be asking, firstly, does the applicant have 7 years or more of paid evaluation experience and expertise? Now, if you do not, you're not eligible, and we won't be able to accept you at this time. But if you do, and we see that through your application and supporting materials, then you'll proceed in our application review, and we will ask if you've served as the principal investigator or have served an equivalent lead role on at least 3 evaluation projects, and does at least one of those project descriptions that you offered include a description of how you have applied or could have applied or will have applied CRE practices or principles into your work. So this is the section that London was speaking to in a previous slide. And so if none of these project descriptions offer this explanation, we won't be able to accept you. But if at least one does in relation to your practices and principles, then we'll move on to ask, does the applicant, or do you clearly articulate how your background, including any lived experiences with systems of oppression, impact your practice of culturally responsive and equitable evaluation? And how will you, as the applicant, continue to grow and build on your CRE knowledge and skills? And again, the ACE Evaluation Network focuses on diversity because we believe it improves our knowledge base and makes for better science and social innovation. So if you're not able to answer this question, we won't be able to accept you into the network. But if you are able to answer, and remember there are two parts. The first is the lived experience piece, and the second is how you will grow and build your CRE knowledge and skills. You will move on, and we will then ask, as reviewers, we'll ask, does the applicant or do you have average to strong writing skills based on the written responses and materials that you've submitted? So this is, for example, your CV or resume, your work sample, the answers to those short questions that we've posed in the application. And we're taking a comprehensive approach to answering this question. And so if your submissions do not reflect average or strong writing skills, we won't be able to accept on the basis of excellence and quality. But if both are average or strong, or one of these is average or strong and the other is weak, then we will proceed to our final consideration, which is the reference check. So this is our final consideration here. We will ask if the reference offers strong support of you as the applicant and vouch for your writing quality and your culturally responsive and equitable evaluation experience. If not, we will not be able to accept you into the network. But if the reference does vouch for your writing quality and CRE experience, then, all things considered and previously mentioned, you will be accepted into the network. So we hope that pathway into understanding our decision process is clear. And I think we can move on to the next slide where we can welcome your questions if it isn't questions related to our process.
Yes, the only thing I would add, Carla, there is that we don't currently offer a lot of opportunities through the network in languages other than English. However, if you have a reference that speaks or writes in another language other than English that you would really like to use because they can really speak to your work and your practices around CRE, please do include them as a reference, and our team will make every effort to collect information from them in their language of choice. So Carla did mention the questions from applicants that we've received. We have assembled a frequently asked questions and responses web page. So if you visit the Become a Member page and scroll to the bottom, you will see a link to the FAQ. You can also follow this link on screen directly to a series of drop-down questions that have been pieced together based on questions we've received from previous CFQs and the current one as well. We update this on a fairly regular basis, especially during the CFQ period. And so if we receive any questions after today's webinar, we will go in and update responses there. So please do take some time to review these questions. And if you have any further questions, we really encourage you to reach out to us before completing your application. So to do that, you can contact us at this email address on screen, team@expandingthebench.org. Again, please do visit our website, expandingthebench.org/ACE, for more information about the network and how to become a member, and also our database. And again, contact us with any questions you have. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Have a good day.